Believe me, I'm disgusted when me hear of some situations where some grown rusty man is attracted to little girls. Especially when are your family members. Like for instance, in this video that I'm about to let you take a listen to, this lady was talking about how her very uncle molested her and raped him very own daughter. Right? And not only that, that was just the beginning of her trauma because she went into relationships in which it was an abusive relationship straight through. She got pregnant numerous times at a very young age. Family, this experience right here that was shared on Unstoppable Live is an extremely sad one. Listening to this scholar sharing her experience will make you realize the things that's happening in this world. People, take a listen to this one that was shared on Unstoppable Live.
I was raised with my grandmother, which is my father mother, and my uncles, of course, two uncles, and she had seven children. Plus, I had a cousin, which is my uncle's daughter. So the both of us was pretty young. She was 3 years old than I am. Life was okay growing like in the you know till I was about 11. you know he used to be very different to me, though. Growing up, he used to be very different. Like, when I said different, I mean like he would buy nice clothes for his daughter, and he wouldn't buy nothing for me. My mama would have to get money from him to sew clothes for me. My father died when I was 1 years old. um my mama asked my mama how I get to be with her. She told me that at the funeral, my biological mother gave me to her, that she going to take a pee and then didn't come back. So that's how I ended up with her. Um, but life was kind of rumbling for me. I was never a happy kid, due to my mother left. I don't know mother, I don't know father, but my grandmother loved me very much. So that keep me going. At age 11, my uncle start making pass to me. Like, when I said making pass, like he would start feeling me up. Like, if I go to him for lunch money, he would put himself up a certain man's yard. And then he would tell me my uniform neat blouse is not straight, and he would put his hand underneath my uniform and start pulling down my blouse, but then start feeling me up. And I would, you know, flinch from him. And he would tell me that if I allow him to have sex with me, then he would give me lunch money and he would make me happy. So I stopped I stopped asking him for lunch money completely. So I would go to school without lunch money most days. And my friends would give me lunch. Sometimes I come home half day. My grandmother would ask me why I come home half day, but I can't tell my grandmother what's really happening, because my grandmother loved that son so much, and he was the one who providing for us at this time. So I didn't want to upset anyone. So that kept going on. When he see that I'm not in what he's doing, he start every little thing he would beats me, and he would beat me so bad. Sometimes I feel like I'm gonna die. He would use guy wire to hit me. When he hit me with the guy wire, like, my skin comes up with it. Sometimes when my grandmother can't take it no more, she would cry out to him and tell him he's not going to kill the one child that his son left behind. He would also use the car tire. He would peer it down and he would hit me with it too. He will plot a shoe block and he would also whoop me with that too. Not only me, but his daughter as well. But I didn't know that he was making a pass of his daughter to the way he doing to me, because she wouldn't tell me either. So that goes on. He would run me down like any little thing we do. We run from it. If we go to the pipe to go for water, We would be there, and he would spit on the ground and tell we if we don't come back before the spit dried up, then we are in trouble. Some more time, people, even though we last go there, people would let us fetch water before them because they know the treatment that we get in at home. So they would let us full our water. So that goes on for a while, until I was about 12 years old. That's when it get worse. My sister, I called her my sister because we are the only two young children in there. So I called her my sister, but she's my cousin, two brother children. So after 12 years old, my cousin is 15 years old. She's 3 years older than me. So one day, my mama told us that she have to go to Negro because her daughter was pregnant and she had a baby and she had a lot of complication. So she have to go down there for a week to help her out. That's when the hell break loose. I asked my mama, I remember bending down on my knees, begging my mama not to go, crying to her, begging her not to go. She should have known something happening, but of course she told me it's just a week and everything will be all right. So my mama left that day, and the day went by. We were okay. We went by our next door neighbor house, having, watching TV because we always go over there. And in the night now, he start calling for us. My uncle start calling for us. When we got over the house was pretty dark. He was in his room and the room was pretty dark. Me, I don't like to talk much. But my cousin, she was the older one, so she speak for both of us. So when we got in the room, she said, "Why in here is so dark?" And he said, "Come over here," and he light the lamp. He didn't turn the light on, he just light the lamp. So he said to us that, "I hear that you guys having boyfriend." My cousin at the time said, "No, we're not having any boyfriend. We don't know what you're talking about. We are just kids." And she said, "If you want to know, then you can know. All you got to do is take us to the doctor, and the doctor will tell you." He said, "No, he want to know now." So she said, "How you gonna find out now?" He said, "Well, I'm going to use my finger to know." And she said, "No, you're not going to do that." And she said, "Come on," and called my name. And she was going. She turned before me. I turned before her, and then she was coming after me. And then my uncle pulled her by the collar of her neck and draw her back. So I turned around, and he said, "Nobody move, else I kill you guys in here tonight. Nobody move. I'm serious." So at that time, I seen that things getting serious, so I was shivering. And he drew me on the bed, and he said, "I'm going to do you first." And my uncle has some long fingernails, and he molested me first with his fingers. And my cousin was there crying, and he let me go, and I stand up, and he said I must put my panty back on. And he drew my cousin. And when he drew my cousin, I uh, I heard my cousin screaming and said I must run and go and get help. But I was so afraid because I'm very terrified of Lick, and I'm afraid of my uncle. And I heard her screamed, and she started screaming. I realized that he's not using his finger. He's raping my cousin, which is his daughter. From that night, our life, the both of us life, wasn't the same. For me, it's very traumatizing until today. It's not that bad, but it still hits me hard at times. So after that night, that terrible thing happened, I started we the both of us sat down and we talked about it, and we she said if we think it's okay to tell somebody. So she decided that we need to go to the police station. So we said okay, because she's the one who making the decision and I'm just tagging along. So we went to the police station, We down there pretty much all morning before the police could ever even come to what we're trying to tell them. We explain the situation and we tell them that she told them that her father raped her and molested me with his fingers. And the police looking at us like we don't have any sense. And long after they said okay, they're going to drive to go up by my uncle's house, take us home. When they got there, we start my cousin start talking boldly before him. The police, but because my uncle, he is a big man about the place. He fixed house. So most people know him as Foresight because every one of the big hotels building in Negril, he's the one who have the contract. So he had a lot of women too. So nobody not believing us. And when the police got there, he telling the police that we are rude children, and because we're not listening and he whooping us, we trying to tell lie on him. And why wouldn't he do that? The police didn't even go into any investigation. They just laughed it off and tell us to listen to our parents. And they laugh and talk, and he buy them drink and they just go. That was it. Now we start telling people about it. Instead, the people listen to us. They start cursing us about it. They curse my cousin, telling him his daddy do whatever with him, with her. They start cursing me that my uncle molested me. So it instead we get the help we need, it become a curse. So it bother us more than anything because nobody not believing us what we're saying. So from that day he start treating us worse. Like that's when the beating start between the both of us. He start every little thing we do, he start whooping us. So sometimes he runs us up and down. We are in the mountains by ourselves where people would go and burn coal. So we up in the mountain by ourselves. If we hold up our hands, we can't even see it because we're far away. And we're running around people's house, sleeping in who will take us in till my cousin can't take it. She said she's going to go to Kingston to look for her mother. She's going to get some kind of help for us. So I decided, okay, so one nice lady gave her money to go to Kingston. So she went off and left me. So I couldn't do anything because she was the one making the decision and she's gone now. So I have to go back and get the whooping. And I went back. Oh my God, I remember that man whooping me so hard. I start crying to him and tell him that if he give me one more hit, I'm going to faint. I have to tell him that. And my mama hear him and come in and say, no, you can't kill my one son, child. And that's when he stopped whooping me. So I decided that I can't take it no more because this is too much for me. You look at my skin, I don't even have it's just whooping, guy wire. And my skin, nothing left. It peels. And I'm tired. So I decided to just whatever it is whatever it is. Whatever life blow me, it's okay. If I die, it's okay. At least I will be at peace. So at 12, I decided that I'm going to look a boyfriend because I rather somebody get me pregnant out there than my own uncle. And I know I have to do this because that's the only way out. So I met this guy. He was going in the same, in the same abuse. His mother put him out. He used to be very sickly. He have sickle cell. So his mother put him out. He slept in the kitchen. So most time it would be me and him there talking, he usually catch water in his shoes, and his feet was very stink, and stuff like that. But I didn't matter because I was in the same position, even worse than him. So I was like, well, it better if I get a man who I can clean up by myself and we can make life together. So I went to one of my father friend, good friend. He's a mechanic. He had a lot of truck. He run his own business, and I begged him to train the guy for me. And he was saying no at first, but I told him, remember the relationship that him and my father got. Please help him. And he took him under his wing and he trained him very well, where he comes out to be a mechanic. and a welder as well. So he got the job with that man, and he was working with that man, and then he got another job with somebody else, making better money. He didn't want to have any sexual relationship with me, but I begged him to do so, and he did. And I got pregnant at 13. So after I got pregnant, my grandmother was very disappointed. She was very disappointed with me. But she said, whatever it is whatever it is. She can't kill me, but life goes on. So from that pregnancy, I have um my grandmother, I have a very hard complication too, because I was just 13 years old, and my body was fighting between being an adult and a teenager at the same time. I feel a lot of pain, and I wasn't a tall person. I was a very short person too. So, the pregnancy was difficult. Sometimes I can't even breathe. I had short of breath. So I was more in hospital than anything else. So I went through that pregnancy, had the baby. My mama took that child from me, and she had that child raising for me, while I was trying to get job, which I don't know what job I could get, because I dropped out of school going into eighth grade. I had the child when I'm 14, so I dropped out of school going into eighth grade. So I was going to club, dancing with people. You go to club and you dance with people, and they will give you money to buy drink. I would take that money because I don't drink. So I would take that money and put in my pocket and take up whether a dragon battle, Guinness, but any dark battle I can get. I would ask the man to wash it out and catch water. So I would come back in the club like I really buy a drink, but I was sipping water. So in the morning, in the morning when I go home, my mama would start cursing and said, "Why you going to the club? You're trying to get another child come in here. You're not going to bring any more baby in here." But I told her, I said, I have to fin for this child. Even though the father was very good, he believe me, he was a good man. He take care of me. He give me money. He do my chores in the morning for me that I should have taken care of in my grandmother's yard. He do it for me, but I just like to have money for my own self. Had little thing coming, and I will turn my pocket out and show the money, and mama would take it up and stuff like that. And you know, well, it goes on like that until a year passed, and I got pregnant again for the second time. So, um, me and my baby father, I told him I'm pregnant. He was like, "How? You told me you're on the pill." But obviously, I was on the pill, but I get pregnant anyways. I don't know how. So that baby come, the mother start making noise. The baby is not his, and this and that, and but he stood behind me. He stood behind me. He didn't listen to the mother. He stood behind me. But the reason why I left that man, he's cheating all the time. Like as soon as I catch him with one woman, then he moved on to another, and I was too young to deal with all that cheating. And after all I done for him, I was disappointed, so I don't want to have anything to do with him. So after I had that second baby, it was a wrap for me. So I start going to Negril, looking, hustling where I can get little washing to do. So I start washing, going to Western. People would call me like the prostitutes. I would go there and I wash for them, and they would pay me. And they, the money, I don't spend the money. I would wait. I would ask them if they had anything to eat, and like the box food that they bought in the night, they would have said food is in the fridge. So I would scrape everything together and eat it and bring the money home. But one day I met a lady, and she told me she's from she's living over the scheme in Orange Bay. And I told him my story, and she told me, "You can come and work for me. You don't have to be on the Negril Beach. I don't like to see young people doing that." And she take me over her house and show me her house. So from that day I was working with her. I was working with her in the house. So I was working there with her for a long time till, I she said she got to let me go because things wasn't working right with her budget. So I start I have to left that job because she didn't have no more money. So I went home and went and tell my mama. So nothing was there for me to do right now. So I start going to my auntie's house. I start going to my auntie's house in Nigel, where I know she would give me food and I will help her to do anything around the house and stuff like that. And after going there, um, I start going back and forth. Then I met this guy. I met another guy who is in my neighborhood, and he was talking to me. I met him at the lady that I was working for. He was working next door that other house, but he was cutting yard. So I met him there. So we were talking. But after I left, I didn't see him because I was in Negril. So when I went back to my yard, I met him again and we were talking. So every time now me and him talk, so I start in a relationship with him. He was very nice at first to me, very nice. um he told me that he don't want me to get pregnant because he don't want any children. He told me that from the beginning. He said, I'm going to date you, but I don't want any children because my father didn't raise me, and I don't think I can raise any children. I don't think I have the financial to help any children, and I don't want them to suffer like me. That's what he told me. So me and him kept going on till I moved in his house. We became a couple in his house. And I got a job at Jackie Factory at the time too. So I was working at Jackie Factory. He was still doing his hustling, in Orange Bay, and we were good. We were good until I got pregnant, and he find out that I'm pregnant. I told him, I said, I'm pregnant, and he was like, "What? You're pregnant?" I said, "Yes." He said, "You can't keep it." And I was like, "What should I do?" And he said, "I'm going to give you the money to do away with it." So he left the money and tell me to let his auntie take me to the place to get rid of it. But when he came back the evening, I didn't go anywhere. And that's when the beating start. He start beating me. He would kick me in my stomach. He would punch me, anything at all, just to for me to lose the pregnancy he just didn't want. He just hates me from that day. But I continue, and I lost the job at Jackie Factory too because I couldn't cope. He would beat me so bad sometime I can't even go to work. So I lost the job up there due to beating. And then it's the beating just keep going, and hungry keep going. The mother of that guy didn't like me. I don't know why she didn't like me, but she had the two older son had two girlfriends. The older one have a girlfriend and me. She liked the older son girlfriend, but not me. So the older son girlfriend would make fun of me because everybody making fun of me. They laugh at me. I'm the laughing stock, to be honest. And so if he left and he told me to go out by his mother to go get something, he left something out there, go get meat kind out there and stuff like that. I will go out there. She will not give it to me. She will not give it to me. So I don't know. I just said okay. So 8 months run by. I'm still well pregnant. One evening he said to me that we're going up by his cousin's house. Rain fall that day. So I said, okay. So we went by the cousin's house and we were up there enjoying. And then when we coming back, he said, we're not going to take the long way road down. We're going to go through the shortcut, which is behind his house. But it's a hill. So he told me, he said, I must go in front of him. And I was like, but you have the light. So why should I go in front? He said, go in front of me. I said, go in front. So I'm afraid of him. So I go in front. And did you know that man in the night pushed me with the 8 month pregnancy? The man pushed me off the hill with the 8 month pregnancy. I rolled and I dropped at his doorway. And then when the man come down there, the man tell me to stop the noise. I was crying and he tell me to stop the noise. And he opened the door and he pushed me in the door. And I go in and I start crying because I was so cramped up and I don't like I'm so numb. And he said, "You hear me say that you must stop the noise in the house. Stop the noise. Stop grunting. I need to sleep." And I said, "Okay." I said, "God, do please. Just let me live to see tomorrow morning where I can go to my grandmother. As long as I reach to my grandmother's house and I look at my grandmother in the face, and if I die, I will die as a happy woman." And in the morning, I went to take a shower. I couldn't move. I was in the bathroom. I just couldn't move. I was so dumb. I'm numb. I couldn't even bend. So I just take my clothes and put back on. I couldn't even put my underwear on. I just have to pull the clothes on. I walked 45 minutes to my grandmother's house with that pain. And as soon as I reached in the yard and I called my grandmother, I said, "Mama, I'm gonna die." She said, "Huh?" I said, "I'm gonna die." I said, the man pushed me off the hill last night. And he cried for the driver. He said he called for the driver's name and the driver came. And he said he take me to the hospital. And as soon as I reached in the hospital and the nurse asked me my name, the baby just flew out. I had that baby. They have to put him in the incubator. And my child lives. So after me have the baby, one of his cousin came to visit somebody in the hospital, and he saw me, and he said, "What you doing here?" And I said, "I had a baby boy." And he said, "So where? So how my nephew didn't tell me, And I said to him, he didn't know. So he went home and he told him that I have a son. So he came up there and he start being happy and come and see me and hold our child, and getting excited. Oh, he's a son, my soldier, and he start getting excited. Well, I supposed to leave the hospital. The same driver who took me to the hospital came. My grandmother sent him back to come and pick me. And then he came with his friends in a car. So my grandmother told me, he said, if you go with him, I'm done. If you go with him, I'm done. But the way how the man hold up the baby and was so excited, I think his mind would have changed and happy now for me. And happy that he have a son, because the way how he was going, I think everything was going to be okay. So you're young and you're dumb and you do stupid stuff. That was one of my stupid things I did. I went with him. So my grandmother was done from then. She was done. All right, I'm there. I'm in his house. I'm in his house for about 6 months. He gave me break and he was happy about everything. 6 months later, the beating starts again. The beating start again. I never do anything good. If I go to church, it's a beating. If I left the yard, go to my grandmother house, it's a beating. No matter what I do, simple, it's a beating. He know I hate the dark. He lock me out. If I go to church, he lock me out in the dark. And I would be there at the doorway crying, 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 begged him, because my grandmother lived 45 minutes away and it's the dark. There's not a lot of street light on the road, so I can't walk all that dark to go. And believe me, my grandmother wouldn't even take me in, so I would have to stay there. I'm just on my own now. So he would take me in about 2 hour and a half or 2 hours later. He would take me in. When he do take open the door, take me in, is either he kick me or punch me or backs me. That's what I go through. He slapped me up with machete. Right now, I even have a big cut in my face where he take the machete handle and bust my face. So I decided that I can't take anymore. Life is too much for me. It's just everywhere I go, I just can't take it anymore. So I decided to kill him. I decided to kill him that night. So I figure out, I planned out the whole thing. I get me some coconut oil, and I see he had a little shine plate. Um, it's like a pot, but it's a plate, you know. So I said, well, tonight I'm going to boil the oil and I'm going to throw it in his ears when he's sleeping. And I decided to go to prison. It's okay. So that they were having crusade that time too. So I was in the house that evening, boiling. After he came home, take his shower, lay down, and fell asleep. I start boiling the grease. I start boiling the oil. And as the oil start boiling, the brother girlfriend that I don't like start calling me. She stood on the hill and she start calling my name. And I said to her, I said, girl, go about your business. Why you calling me? She said, I'm going to crusade. I'm going to church. And I need you to come tonight. I said, girl, go about your business. And I was talking loud, but I thought the man would have heard me and shut me up or come give me a hit as he always do. But for some reason, the man didn't wake up and I was talking to her loud. And she's calling me, calling me, calling me. So she's not leaving me tonight. I need to come. So I said, since she did calling me, I'm just gonna just go. So I turned off the stove and I went with her. When I got at the church, she went in and I was at the doorway, peeping in, lot of people there. And as I got there, I hear the pastor saying that he need to pray for someone tonight. Someone need a special prayer tonight, and he need to pray for that person. And he start calling up, said people that person need to come. They need to come. So everybody start going up, going up. I'm still standing there at the door, looking in. And he's still saying that the person not there yet. But when I look around, I was the only one that left there. So I couldn't do anything more than I go to the back of the line, where everybody stand up, and he walked through the crowd and he come right down to me and hold me on my shoulder. He said to me, thank God you didn't do what you do tonight. He said, do you know that you can make a deal with God? He said, you can cut a deal. He said, same like how you talk to me, you can talk to God. Go on your knee and talk to God, because sometimes that's what we need to do, is to talk to God. And he called them and tell them to bring in some olive oil, and he make a cross in my face. And he said, what I want, and he prayed for me. He said, what I wanted to do, I need you to go and cut a deal with God, and you'll be all right. That night I went home, I think the man was going to beat me because that's what he do all the time. But that night when I get home, he was still asleep. I went in the house peacefully and I slept. He woke up that morning, he went to work. And when he went to work, that's when I started to pray. I said, okay, God, it's me and you. I said, Father, it's me. And I called my name because I don't want him to even miss to say it's somebody else. So I called my name personally. I said, it's me. It's me and you. I said, I went to church last night and the pastor said, I can cut a deal with you. And I'm going to cut the deal with you right now. I said to him, you took my father. You took my mother. So you are the only person I got right now. I said, everybody take me as a laughing stock. They call me Walkerton. They call me Dirty Batty Girl. They call me Dirty Foot Girl. There is no name for them to left to call me. I said, God, look, I'm cutting the deal with you. I need to go to America. I said, dear, I can start my life with a new name, a new me. And I need to go there. I know I don't have anybody there, but I need you to take me there. I said, Father God, if you do this for me, I will serve you the rest of my life. And I said, God, look, I need you to remove me. I don't know what's holding me around this house. But Father God, I need you to remove me from this house. I said, Father, don't let the 14th of February catch me in this house. I said, if the 14th of February catch me in this house, I will know you're not real. But if I moved, then I know you're real. And I get up. The 13th of February, nothing happened. I'm still there. The 14th of February, I woke up to our sweet aroma of this man making breakfast for me. And that man haven't made breakfast for me in a long time. When I woke up, he said, I'm making breakfast. I said, you haven't made breakfast for a long time. He said, yes, I'm in a good mood today. So I'm making breakfast before I go to work. He make egg with bread with fried plantain and frankfurter. That's what he made. I said, okay, let me brush my teeth and come. And I brushed my teeth and I come and I ate and he ate. He went to work and I was still there. I have a whole lot of clothes to wash that day. So I washed the clothes. So after I washed the clothes, I went to the pipe with the white one first. I'm going to rinse the white one to put on the line. So I catch the water at the pipe and lift up the pan now to in my hand to bring up to the line so I could rinse the clothes and hang them at the same time. When I lift it, I fell. The way how I dropped so hard, I have to jump up and feel if my head is on my body. My head light. And I feel and I look down, I see that I'm alive. And the only thing I find myself doing is sit down back and start rubbing all the clothes I washed in the mud. In the mud. And the grandmother came around there and she see me rubbing them in the mud. And he said, somebody going to get a ass in here tonight, today, But I didn't say anything to her. I didn't answer her. I just keep rubbing the clothes. Well, when he come that evening, he come in that evening. I already had my clothes packed up. I went in and I packed the clothes. He gave me a bag and I packed everything in it. So when he come, my clothes was already packed, ready to go. When he came in, he didn't even say anything to me. When he came in, he said, good evening. I said, good evening. He said, what's all that? I said, it's my clothes. He said, why you pack them? Where you going? I said, I'm leaving today. He said, what? I said, I'm leaving. He said, but I didn't do you anything. I said, it's not what you do me now, but it's all the things you do me and I'm ready to go. I said, what we gonna do with our son? Because I'm going. He said, I'm keeping my son. So at this point, he didn't start do anything. When he see I'm grabbing up the bags, that's when he grabbed the bags from me and he said, well, you want to go? Let me let you go. And he start pushing me through the front door. So by the time, he start pushing me and he start flinging my clothes, throwing them out of the bag and decorate the place with it. Jamaican people, everybody start coming. People coming from everywhere because in that lane, it's all his family. So everybody start run coming and they start laughing and stuff like that. His grandmother came over and his mother came over. And before the two of them as an adult say, son, stop doing this thing. You have sister. Nope. They join him. The mother said, give me the child, give me my grandson. No children that born in this area. Leave this area. We keep our children for warrior. That's what she said. And I picked up the clothes. My bag of panties that I did have, he had a pan before the house. He threw the panties over there. Two of the children was trying to find the panty in the pan, but they didn't find it. So I take up whatever I could take up, and I I left. So when I'm leaving, he said, and don't come back at my house either, because some dogs have mine. Some dogs, you hit them one time and they don't come back. But you worse than a dog. You keep coming back. I didn't say anything. I just keep walking. So when I got to my mama house, I told my mama, I said, my mama, I'm not going back there. She said, I don't believe you. So my mama left me out on the veranda. I slept with the dogs for 3 nights on the veranda, and she see that I'm not going anywhere. So she allowed me to come back in the house. She said, I'm giving you the last time. She said, it better if you stay here and be alive than be with a beater, because I told you from the beginning, those people are not nice. So at that time now, I said, okay. And I start going back to my auntie's house in Negril. I'm mostly based in Negril now more than at my grandmother's house. So after I start staying in Negril, coming back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. One day I was coming from Negril and I saw one white guy. And the way how him bite up with mosquito, me feel sorry for him because he's a white guy, so he look terrible. So me walk over to him and me said, "Hey,
Carla, what I
what's
want to
wrong
know,
with you?"
sorry to cut you, but what I want to know, during all of this
Mhm.
back and forth and running and all of this, where were your kids?
My kids, mama had one, and the grandmother for my first boyfriend had the other one, and then the third one I left him now. So my grandmother raised one. My other boyfriend grandmother had the first one that I had. My boyfriend grandmother took that one, and the second one that I have, my grandmother took that one. So I had two sons that I was still free because they took care of the baby for me.
So
They
the
took care of them.
so the last time when you left and went back to your mother's house, how old were you at this point?
I was only 16, 16, because I had the baby back to back. All of them born is 1 year apart. All of them,
So
1 year apart.
Jesus.
1 year apart. I had one 14, I had one 15, and I had one 16. 1 year apart. All of them.
Was
So
there
every year and
what
I'm been taking contraceptive, but it just not working for me. I tried different method, not working. I got pregnant in them.
was there at any point where your
Not
kids
working.
actually grew up with you?
Pardon me?
Was there any point where your kids actually grew up with you?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Continue
I'm
from where
getting
you
to
left off.
that part.
Okay, continue.
I'm getting to that part. So when I met the white guy, I I saw where the mosquito. He said it's mosquito. So I said, "Where you stay at?" He said, "I stay down by certain um this person's house." So I said, "Okay, don't worry yourself." I said, "I'm going to get a aloe vera for you because my auntie massage. That's what she do for a living on Negril Beach. So she always show me what the aloe vera can do and stuff like that because I usually go with her sometimes." So I went up on the hill where one of my friend lived. He had some bag dogs up there. So when you catch the yard, you have to call him, and he actually come out to you. And so I said, "Beg your piece of your aloe vera, no?" And him say, "What you they go do with it?" Me say, "No worry, man." And him carry aloe vera, and me and him turn up and talk, and me left. And the place where the white guy tell me say in there, at there so me go carry the aloe vera, go give him. And and that was it. He tell me thanks, and that was it. So when me go on my yard now, and they are my yard, the next day me go way back on the grill. So when me go on the grill now, and they about 5 days, and me come back on my grandmother yard, my grandmother thought toss me. And she said, "You not care about no more picnic coming at my house, you know. You not care about no more picnic coming at the house. The white man, the two white man, where every one of the people then they fight over, the young girl then they fight over, where then they lead on with. At that the man they come at me yard, they come ask you and they send everybody, they come at me yard. It not go happen." Me say, "Mama, what you they talk about? What white man? Cause me even totally forget say me give white man aloe vera. Me totally forget." And he said, "One, two white man were there where they lead on with all of the young girl them." So me say, eh. Then me remember, me say, "No, mama. The white guy me see with the whole heap of mosquito bite and me just cap is a aloe vera go give me and white man nothing and nothing. Nothing." And same time me they come out of the yard, so me they go down, they go on him, tell him say no call up me name. When me look at the white man, me see they come. And he said to me, say, "Oh, I was coming to look for you again. I've been paying a lot of people to come look for you." I said, "For me for what? You already tell me thanks. What do you want?" And him said, him just want to talk to me. And I said, "Okay, talking." And he said, "Can I take you out?" And I said, "No, you can't take me out. Talk where you dey talk. Say what you're saying." And then he said to me that he want to tell me thanks and stuff like that and rate. So I said, "Okay." So me now walk go down the road. And me and him walk go down further down the road because one shop always there. they will play music and stuff like that. And I did the whole when me come home, I did some hang out. Cause me love dance. Love dance. So when me catch down there and down the road and the music start play, and then the rain start fall at the same time. So we all have to run go underneath the shop, go sit down. The music start play and me now start wind up myself and galang cause so me happy going same way. Me start wind up and bubble. And him they look for me until he come behind me and he start dance with me and me they bubble pan him, me they bubble pan him. And then we did it and the whole everybody start laugh and the Jerry and they say, no, say this a girl ya bubble. No, say this a girl ya bubble. And anyway, me enjoy myself, rain done, and me gone about my business. Me gone about my business. So me went tarry a little bit at me yard for a moment. And then the next day now he come up there and he said he want to carry me out. And I said, where you want to carry me go? He said he really want to sit down and have a talk with me. If when me want to go and in the Goa beach. If me can come, he would appreciate if me come. So me say, okay, no problem. So me and him go on the beach and we go somewhere quiet, and me and him sit and talk. And he seems like a nice young man too, you know. Cause at that time now people start telling him all kind of things about the past, me past and stuff like that, you know. So me sit down with him and me talk to him and him tell me where he come from, who I'm mother, we talk and drink and stuff like that. So from that the time then now we sit down and have a talk, me really to say he's not a bad person, So me take liking into him. All right, me and him they go and talk and one of my friends said to me say, say, girl you can't end up go to America because he really like you out of everybody when they talk to he really like you. Me never seen serious with nobody like that. And me say okay, no problem. And me and him talk and he go way back a foreign. And me think me name don't hear from him none at all. None at all. But in call pan him friend them phone and ask me, and me we go take the call and stuff like that. And him go away, him come back. And me and him the road. See him we me and the man they talk for a long time till me about 19-year old. Me and the man they talk back and forth. Me and him keep it going. And him come back and when him come back when me 19, the last time they me get pregnant. Me get pregnant for him.
If you want to take a listen to the rest of what was shared, click the link in the description. It will take you on over to Unstoppable Live where you can listen to the rest of it in its entirety. When you go over there, as I always say, remember to hit that subscribe button, turn on all notifications. So when we go live, you will get notified of the live stream and you can be there to participate in whatever topic we are talking about at the time. Also remember to hit the subscribe button right here on the recap channel. So once we drop another video, you will get notified. Watch out now. Until the next Unstoppable recap, stay strong, stay motivated, but most of all, remain unstoppable.
Unstoppable.